I thought I had the perfect life. A beautiful wife, a dream home in the making, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing I had built everything from the ground up. I was never the wealthiest man, but I worked hard, stayed loyal, and did everything to make Emily happy. She always said I was her rock, her safe place. I believed her, but that night, everything changed. It was late, and I had just finished a long shift. Exhausted, I walked into the house quietly, hoping not to wake Emily. As I passed the hallway, I heard soft laughter coming from the living room. My wife's voice, low and secretive, sent a chill down my spine. "He's just temporary," she whispered. "Once the house is in my name, I'll file for divorce." Her best friend giggled. "And he has no clue?" Emily scoffed. "Of course not. He's too naive. He actually thinks I love him." My heart stopped. The air in my lungs turned to ice. I stood there, gripping the doorframe, my mind refusing to believe what I had just heard. My wife, the woman I loved, the woman I had sacrificed so much for, was planning to leave me the moment she got what she wanted. I wanted to storm in, demand answers, scream, anything, but something held me back. No, not yet. I swallowed the lump in my throat and forced myself to breathe. If I confronted her now, she'd twist it, manipulate me, maybe even deny everything. I needed to be smarter. I needed to plan. So I did something I never thought I was capable of. I acted clueless. The next morning, I woke up next to her, feeling like a stranger in my own life. Emily stirred, her arms lazily draping over me as she smiled. "Morning, baby," she whispered, pressing a kiss to my cheek like nothing had changed. But everything had. I kissed her back, my lips barely brushing against hers. "Morning, love," I said, forcing a smile. Inside, I was drowning. I went through the day as if nothing had happened. I made her coffee, told her she looked beautiful, even listened to her ramble about house renovations. She had no idea that I knew. The betrayal sat like a stone in my chest. Every time she spoke about our future, about our home, I had to fight the urge to snap, but I had to be patient. If she was playing a long game, so would I. Over the next few weeks, I observed her carefully. She was affectionate, but only when she wanted something. She'd mention how secure she felt knowing the house was almost in her name. She'd talk about how much she loved me in front of others, but behind closed doors, her warmth was strategic, and I played my part, like the fool she thought I was. Then our anniversary approached. She was excited, talking about how special the day was going to be. "I've planned something amazing," she gushed. I smiled. "So have I." She had no idea. The day of our anniversary arrived, and Emily was glowing with excitement. She had booked a fancy restaurant, dressed in a stunning red gown, and kept talking about how this was the beginning of our forever. I played along, holding her hand, smiling, making her feel like everything was perfect. Dinner was exquisite. Soft candlelight, expensive wine, romantic music. She leaned in close, tracing her fingers over my wrist. "I'm so lucky to have you," she whispered, her eyes shining. I almost laughed. Instead, I reached into my pocket and pulled out a small envelope. "I have something for you," I said, sliding it across the table. She gasped. "Oh my God, is this?" Her fingers trembled as she opened it, expecting jewelry, a heartfelt letter, maybe even house papers. But as her eyes scanned the contents, the color drained from her face. "Divorce papers." She swallowed, her breath coming out shaky. What is this?" I leaned back, watching her unravel. "It's exactly what it looks like." Her hands gripped the papers so tightly they crumpled. "I don't understand," she stammered, faking confusion. "Why would you?" I smiled. "I overheard you, Emily." Her mouth opened, then closed. "I heard everything," I continued, my voice calm. "The whispers, the plan, the way you laughed about how temporary I was." She turned pale. "No, baby, it's not. Don't." I cut her off, my voice sharper now. "Don't lie to me. Not anymore." Tears welled in her eyes, but I felt nothing.
No sympathy.
No love, just cold, quiet satisfaction. Happy anniversary, I said, standing up and leaving her there. Shocked, speechless, and exposed. Emily didn't come home that night. I didn't expect her to. I sat alone in our half-finished house, staring at the walls she had once decorated with dreams she never intended to share with me. The betrayal should have broken me, but instead, I felt free. The weight I had carried, the love I had poured into someone who never deserved it, was gone. But Emily wasn't the type to accept defeat easily. The next morning, she showed up at the house, her eyes swollen, her makeup smudged. She had been crying. Good. She walked in without knocking. "Please," she whispered, her voice raw. "Just talk to me." I crossed my arms. "Talk? Now you want to talk?" She flinched but didn't look away. "I made a mistake." I laughed. "A mistake? Emily, a mistake is forgetting our anniversary. What you did was calculated." Her lips trembled. You used me?" I continued, stepping closer, letting the weight of my words crush whatever excuses she was forming. Every kiss, every promise, every "I love you." It was all a lie, wasn't it? Tears spilled down her cheeks. "It wasn't all a lie," she choked out. "I was selfish, yes. I thought I needed security. I thought love wasn't enough." I shook my head. "Then you never really loved me." She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. The pain in her eyes almost looked real. Almost. "I regret everything," she whispered. "Please, just give me a chance to fix this." I should have walked away. I should have slammed the door in her face. But then my phone rang. I glanced at the screen, her mother. I answered hesitantly. "Hello." The moment I heard her mother's voice, my stomach twisted. She was crying. "She regrets everything," her mother sobbed. "Please, just talk to her." For the first time since this started, doubt crept in. Had she really lost everything? And realized too late? I clenched the phone, listening to Emily's mother plead between broken sobs. Her words cracked under the weight of desperation. "She's not eating, not sleeping. She made a mistake. But she loves you. Please, don't let pride ruin this." "Bride." I almost laughed. Did she think this was about pride? Did she think I wanted to punish Emily? Emily stood in front of me, her tear-streaked face full of regret. Or maybe just fear of losing the life she thought she had secured. "She played me," I murmured, more to myself than her mother. "She was going to throw me away like nothing." Emily shook her head violently, grabbing my hand. "No. I was stupid. I was wrong. But I swear, I didn't mean to hurt me." I cut her off. "Then what exactly did you mean, Emily? Were you going to keep using me a little longer? Make me fall deeper before you ripped everything away?" She sobbed, pressing her forehead against my chest. I was scared. I thought love wouldn't be enough. I thought security mattered more. Her mother's voice quivered through the phone. "She's been crying for days, begging for another chance." I felt Emily's body shake against mine. If I had never overheard her that night, would she have ever told me the truth? Would she still be lying? "I don't know if I can ever believe you again," I admitted, my voice quiet. Emily looked up, her eyes wild. "Then don't believe my words. Believe this." And before I could react, she dropped to her knees, wrapping her arms around my waist like a child clinging to something they feared losing forever. "I don't want the house," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I don't want anything. Just you. Just us." For the first time since discovering her betrayal, I saw something in her eyes that I hadn't seen before. Fear. Not of losing comfort. Not of losing the house. Fear of losing me. And for the first time, I hesitated. I stood frozen, feeling Emily's arms tighten around me as she sobbed into my shirt. The woman who once saw me as nothing more than a stepping stone was now on her knees, begging for something she had thrown away. She looked up, her eyes glistening with desperation. "I love you." The words hung between us like a fragile thread. Once I would have done anything to hear them. Now they felt hollow. Too little, too late. "Love," I repeated, my voice laced with disbelief. You love me now? After everything? She shook her head, her hands trembling as they clung to me. I was scared, she whispered. I thought I needed security, something permanent. But I was wrong. I had everything I needed. You. I exhaled sharply, stepping back. Emily, I can't unhear what I heard that night. I can't forget how easily you planned to throw me away. Her face twisted in pain. But I didn't go through with it. I chose you in the end. I let out a bitter laugh. You chose me after I caught you. She flinched. Her mother was still on the phone, silent now, probably holding her breath for my response. I felt a strange pity for her. No mother wants to see her daughter destroyed. But this wasn't something I could fix. You regret losing me, I said quietly. Not what you did. Emily's lips parted, but no words came. And in that silence, I had my answer. I reached into my pocket, pulled out the wedding ring I had taken off the night I overheard her betrayal, and set it gently on the table between us. Her breath hitched. No, please. I shook my head. I loved you, Emily, with everything I had. But love isn't enough without trust. Tears streamed down her face, her fingers shaking as they reached for me. I'll do anything, she whispered brokenly. Please don't leave me. I stepped back. You left me first. She collapsed, sobbing as I turned away. The house we built together, the future we planned, the love I once believed in, it was all over. As I walked out the door, my heart should have been heavy. But for the first time in a long time, I felt free.